this is Annika, and I say hi to the second Baltic Manor Festival online here today from the city of Rostock, located in Mecklemburg-Vorpommern. And as you might have seen, again, we are here to talk about manors. So this is an event for lovers of old houses. And again, we want to take you on a grand tour through the Baltic scenery to the hinterland and show you what kind of miracles are lingering there. You know, these days, especially today, as it is very hot, trust me, I would rather be at the beach. But because our partners in Sweden are holding up their Manor Festival today, we are here to actually give them some support and present all our other partners who, due to the pandemic situation, cannot hold the same event as we thought it would be. So make yourself comfortable and get yourself a cup of tea, just like we have here in the studio in Rostock. We are very close to the Baltic Sea right now. And in this lovely studio of our wonderful team of Studio 301, who have already joined us last time. So we are in good hands here. And next to me, you can see Olga Karash.
Hello, everyone.
Olga and I are actually part of the South Baltic Manor project.
Yes.
The EU project, which focuses to show you guys the impact of those Baltic manors, which is actually getting stronger and stronger again. These days we can experience a huge wave of pioneers who take up these ruins and try to find ways to maintain this manorial heritage for all of us. And it is actually quite exciting. What do you think, Olga? So far, you as the project coordinator of the Tourism Association Vorpommern, which is the lead partner of this whole project.
Exactly.
Do you might want to tell us what this project is about a little bit?
Yes, well, as first, thank you, Annika, for introducing me. First of all, yes, we are 6 partner regions in this project and 14 partner organizations in all. And it's incredible to see how people contribute to the revival of these old houses. How these houses are not just old buildings for them. They are much more. They are, I don't know, it's so so incredible to see their passion, which they lie into all this work around this project.
You know, from the outside, these houses all look so glamorous and shiny, and you just walk by and think, oh, fantastic place, you know, nice architecture, must be really cool to live here. But actually, there's a lot more behind it, I can tell you.
It is.
It is a whole lot of work to actually make these houses run these days, because due to political changes, they are more or less, they stand by themselves, and they've lost their economic original source, so which was the land, because in most cases the land was actually the source, and so but we can tell you about that a little bit later. Shall we first now show our viewers which countries are actually involved?
Let's do this.
As you can see there, you can see Germany, northern Germany, that's where we are right now, Mecklemburg-Vorpommern, loads of manor houses, almost 2,000. Then we have the Lolland-Falster of South Denmark. I'm switching to Sweden right now, to the region of Skane, where our partners in Christinehof and Castle Svaneholm are actually open right now. Then we have our partners in Little Lithuania, which is a bit in the southwest, next to Russia, Russia and Poland. And then we have Russia as a newbie. This is actually a surprise. We are very proud to present you our latest member of the project.
Yes, one might think.
And also, we haven't spoken about our Polish partners yet, because it was quite quick. We are also in northern Kashubia and Parseta, but we will tell you more about that later on. But just to give you an idea who is involved in this project. So we are here in Mecklemburg-Vorpommern right now at the city of Rostock, which is a harbor city, a very, very prestigious city in the back then and still today one of the, you could say, most visible cities of Mecklemburg-Vorpommern. Yeah, one of the biggest.
Yes, indeed.
And yeah, that's where we are with Studio 301, and we are very happy to be here. As you can see, we're again in an old building which once belonged to the harbor and which is listed as heritage, national heritage. So there you can see all these people. There's the ferry to Sweden, and we wish we could be on there and enjoy a glass of Aperol Spritz or something like that. But we are quite happy here as well. So just to give you an idea what your travel could look like next time you go to Sweden in order to visit those castles that we will show you in the later part. We will first start with a short review of our latest Baltic Manor Festival, which was held at the end of June. Some of you have already probably been with us, so you know what this was all about. But for those viewers who are new to us, we just want to give you a short idea of yeah, what is the whole thing, you know, with this Baltic Manor Festival. Olga, it is, the Baltic Manor Festival is actually sort of the all-over goal, we could say, right?
Well, one of those. The festival, the idea behind it was to create an event of the duration of 1 or 2 days, so the broader audience would have a chance to visit those old buildings somewhere in the hinterland and to experience all of them at once, yeah, possibly.
And before you go there, first we go there to check out the routes and, you know, to find out our partners, which our alliances in each partner country. So why do we not just have a glimpse at one excursion to Denmark last year, and then we switched to northern Kashubia, who were the first last year who made an own Baltic Manor Festival.
Let's have a look.
Eine Minute haben wir jetzt. Okay, alles gut?
Oh mein Gott.
Lovely impressions, don't you think, Olga?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I wish I would have been there last time, but
yeah, me too.
Luckily I've already went to Kashubia, and the major organization is due to Rade Kaminski, and we just want to show a few words by him within the next.
South Baltic Manor von der polnischen Seite. Was bedeutet das hier alles für dich?
Radek, jesteś szefem projektu od strony polskiej. Co to dla Ciebie oznacza?
Was Ihnen das bedeutet hier, die ganze Angelegenheit?
Jest to na pewno duże wyzwanie doprowadzić do współpracy właścicieli dworów i pałaców, którzy są, że tak powiem, z różnych środowisk, z różnych dziedzin, Są tutaj osoby, które posiadają dwory i pałace jako osoby prywatne, ale są też dyrektorzy instytucji kultury, które działają w tych miejscach, czy też dyrektorzy muzeów. Także cała sztuka polega na tym, żeby wszystkich razem
It
zachęcić
is
do współpracy
certainly
i
a
wspólnie
big
działać
challenge
na
to
rzecz
bring
promocji
about
szlaków,
cooperation
dworów i
between the
pałaców.
owners of mansions and places who represent various forms of ownership, from private owners to directors of cultural centers. The trick is to encourage everyone to cooperate and work together to promote the route of mansions and palaces. That's what he says, and that's pretty much the overall message, I think, and our major task, right? To get the places together, to connect to owners, and find out who works for which route, and who's keen to actually do something with us.
Exactly. And as we already told you, last year we were lucky to implement some of the festivals in our regions. It was Lolland-Falster in Denmark, Mecklemburg-Vorpommern in Germany, and Northern Kashubia in Poland.
Yeah. And the overall idea goes back to our member, Robert Ude, who is the initiator of the Baltic Manors Festival, which originally started here in Germany as the MittsommerRemise, as a small countryside house tour. And the idea behind it is that those places open up to the public and show, hi, this is us, this is what we do. Have a good time today, even though you can't see us every day like that. Isn't it, Robert? Do you might want to come and join us here?
Yes, I do.
We have a seat here.
Hui, this is a warm day in
Welcome
Sweden.
our Robert. So Robert, here we are
Hi.
back.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, we've had that last time already, didn't we?
We had a
In
little
our-
talk last time.
A little talk, a little 5-hour talk last time, which was
Annika,
great
I'm
fun.
getting used again to this nice talk. But
Yeah, just
we
get
are-
comfy.
Yeah,
Robert, you have something in your hands, and we like to show off now, right? Because
yeah.
because
We
you
are-
achieved something and you got honored for this. Do you-
Yeah. Not me, just all of the crowds of our network. We have this wonderful prize, won from the EDC Tourism Prize. But actually, the point is, in times of Corona, we had been. You see this. We had been told to be nominated for the Tourism Prize of Germany. So we tried to get our papers in at the end of August, and we'll find out if in time of Corona these very nice manor houses with a park are the best place for doing good cultural events.
And can you tell us the reason? The what did they say? Why do you deserve the first place? What was the explanation?
Yeah, I mean, we started about 10 years ago. With this long way of putting a big network together, a lot of manor houses. We found partners in these good, interesting Baltic Sea countries, Sweden, Denmark, Poland, Lithuania, Russia. And in the last 2 years, it really grew out to become a real border crossing festival. And this is probably something in times of today that people are interested in culture, heritage, in their identity of their own region, border crossing activities.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are very proud actually that you. It must be really cool to achieve some acknowledgement after all those years of hard work, isn't it?
That's true. Yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
seeing this. It's so hot here today.
Yeah, but we don't want to talk about that, Robert. We want to talk about all the houses and all the people. And what we actually quite like is that you brought this idea to the project as the overall one of the major goal, you know, so that our project will not just last for like 3 years and we all sit together and find out about all these routes, but that we have a lasting effect, and that will be the Baltic Manors Festival. That is actually what we hope, and our Swedish partner are hopefully doing quite a nice job over there on the other side of the Baltic Sea, and we say hi. And just to give an idea who else is involved in this wonderful project, which is really a lot of fun, we show all the people that we are currently meeting rather online than in persona. But believe it or not, Corona brought us together.
Yes, indeed. We have held a lot more meetings during this time.
Yeah,
And it was great.
It was actually getting more vivid due to the fact that no one had to travel so far, that no one had to like skip a whole week just for this project in a row, and just a bit here and a bit of there, and it's all a bit more, you know, there's another flow in it actually. So
it was a good
can
impact.
we dare to say that Corona actually uplifted our project a little bit?
Yeah, you could summarize it like this. Also, it's hard work. Sitting
Also,
in
it's hard work.
every one of us has.
And it didn't
Get to
work
know
out the
him.
way we wanted, because actually we wanted the people go and see the houses themselves, just
Yeah.
like we intended to do
Yeah.
today. We would probably rather sit in Sweden today. Actually, I put on my Swedish shoes, if anyone noticed yet. Just to
I'm so sorry,
just
I'd
for
like
some
to take
Swedish
my
touch,
shoes
you
out
know.
of the
Even if I
view.
can't be there, I have my Swedish husbands on. Yeah.
Get focused, please, on your
Just to
manor
suit the
houses.
situation, you know, because today is also very much about our Swedish partners. But first of all, we want to show all the other countries involved, and that will be in the next film right now.
Sehr gut. Kann ich jetzt wieder gehen?
Ja.
Sehr gut.
Möchtest du gehen?
Nein.
My name is Sean McBride. We are here in Bristol on the Malchian Lake. My father was a pretty well-known photographer, and I inherited his archive. So we're just in the process of beginning a development, starting a foundation. We have 700,000 negatives and diapositives. We also represent the image rights. We have prints, and for instance, if you're interested in publication and you need some historical photography, then we release the rights. At the end, we'll have an institution here, which will have the kind of a museum character. I think that my hope is someone who actually grew up. I was born in Berlin. I grew up in Munich, in South Germany. That the North again will somehow come to its own. Maybe in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, this will be an interesting area.
I restored this house over 20 years, and finally it became a successful project in the sense that it became a hotel, a little museum. It helps a lot to do a project, a touristic project, in an area which was only agricultural before. Our motto is living in the museum. So the hotel is incorporated in the museum, and the sketches for the artworks are in the hotel rooms, and we tried to reconstruct the atmosphere of an old farmhouse, a manor house. Life goes slowly, and visitors are welcome. Food is good, sleep is nice and peaceful, and there are good discussions and talks and meetings, and you meet people from different parts of Europe, and this is my project.
Hi, here we are back again. So that was the MittsommerRemise in Germany, the way it was held last year, and
Well, Robert, MittsommerRemise is kind of your baby, right? And maybe you can advise something very specific to another project partners who hadn't got the chance to have their Baltic Manors Festival this year, so they can do it in future in a better way.
Oh, this is a big topic. Actually, in my opinion, they are doing a really good job. We've seen it in Kashubia last year. We see the small version in Denmark. And I think the Swedish people will do a wonderful job today as well. We will see in some minutes here. So there is no advice I can give. There's a lot of nice pictures, movies we have taken this time, we have caught, and I think they have an idea what the MittsommerRemise is. So just stay tuned.
Yeah. I think the overall challenge is always to connect, and to find the people you can work with for this project, and to find out what is their situation and how can they fit in. And you're doing quite a good job. We talked about it last time. It's really hard work, you know, like knocking on doors and saying, "Hi, I'm Robert. I've got this idea. Do you want to be part of it? Yes, please." So yeah, I mean, you moved, like, even in Germany, you expanded this festival from like 10 houses to almost 100 houses. And from the west, so to say, to the eastern part, now you're heading towards the south, towards Poland, and you could also find alliance there.
Yeah.
One in specific that we might want to show now?
Yeah, actually we are dealing quite hard with the area around Szczecin, and there is one, on the German border side, there is one house, it's called Ramin, Manor House Ramin, that is run by Polish people, very cute. And I think we have some pictures from last festival in Germany, and just enjoy it. Dankeschön.
Ja, wir sind in einem Gutshaus, das von der Familie von Ramin 1750 gebaut worden ist. Und dann war das Familiensitz auch von dieser Familie. Ansonsten, die lange Geschichte dieses Hauses ist ziemlich abwechslungsreich, weil wurde das Haus zum Beispiel 1850 an Familie Semmler verkauft, die dann eine ganz moderne Landwirtschaft entwickelt hat bei diesem Gut. Und dann, wie das im Leben ist, hat sich das über mehrere Jahre gut und schlecht gezogen, bis auf eine Tatsache, dass der Herr Semmler leider keine Ernte verkaufen konnte und er musste das Haus verlieren, im Sinne lief nicht so gut, wie man das wollte. Danach wurde das ganze Gut in 68 Teilen gestückt, wurden einige Häuser gebaut und die Häuser samt Fläche wurden an Freiwilligen verschenkt, die das bewohnen sollen und bewirtschaften sollen. Und nach dem Krieg hat man hier eine Landwirtschaftsschule gegründet, später Kinderheim, und 2007, 2008 sind wir sozusagen ins Spiel gekommen. Wir haben das von einem Privatmann gekauft und mit einer Idee, wie man das alles hier arrangieren, neu machen kann, was man hier alles entwickeln kann.
Wir nutzen das Haus privat und organisieren hier auch viele Veranstaltungen in polnischer und deutscher Sprache, viele Konzerte, Vorlesungen, Projekte, deutsch-polnische Projekte, Integrationsprojekte.
Ich kenne die Zukunft noch nicht. Aber ich kann schon einiges vermuten und ich glaube, gerade diese Umgebung eignet sich dafür, dass man auch zeigt, wie die Landwirtschaft bzw. wie Landleben oder die Natur überhaupt tickt. Weil heutzutage haben wir natürlich auch bei jungen Leuten das Problem, dass sie wirklich diese klassische Milch von der Tüte kennen. Und wir haben hier 7 Hektar Parkanlage, 200 verschiedene Sorten von Kräutern. Und das kann man alles nutzen. Besonders heutzutage ist das sehr wichtig, dass man weiß, wie man ohne Chemie bestimmte Sachen einfach machen kann und sich selber helfen kann.
Und deswegen planen wir hier Gäste zu haben nächste Jahre. Und denen wollen wir zeigen, wie kann man diese Wildkräuter in der Küche beispielsweise verwenden. Was kann man damit machen und was ist gut daran, in Einklang mit Natur zu leben.
So, as we've seen, that was from Manor Ramin, which is near the Polish border. And it is always the nicest to go there yourself, of course. But we thought that with this online festival, we found a solution to actually show you our work and to tell you what this project is about and what we have already achieved. And we have already done quite a lot of work and went traveling, visiting partners and all that. And so they put together all these films that we have been showing at the end of June on our first online Baltic Manor Festival. And just to give you an idea how we worked and what it was, you know, what kind of bulk of organization this recommended, we want to show you a snippet of our work at that day.
Welcome to Poland.
Welcome to Mecklemburg-Vorpommern in Germany.
Welcome to Sweden.
Hi! So here we are back again. Wow. Next to me, Robert Ude, initiator of the Baltic Manor Festival, which has now come on an international level.
I'm really impressed of these people behind these houses actually. They are really interesting people. They have ambitions and they have visions they want to realize. You have so many different concepts you can explore and offers, and this is something very interesting for me. There is not this kind of stereotype. No, there's so different things to explore.
Back again, and we just wanted to show you a little snippet from our partners in Sweden, and just to show you where Svaneholm and Castle Christinehof are located, namely in the south of the region Skane, as you can see, which is very similar to our landscape here in Mecklemburg-Vorpommern actually. And yeah, it would probably be a pleasure to be there right now. I hope they're having a blast. And but we are having a good time here as well, do we? Because we are now heading into the next session where we want to show you even more material that we have prepared. Those of you who have been with us last time might wonder, okay, that was 5 hours of material and films and talking. How can you even talk more and show more films? But I can assure you that our partners again provided us with super duper material about their regions, and you can be really excited because this time we have a newbie, which is the region of Kaliningrad, Russia.
Yes, exactly. The Kaliningrad region is one of 12 of our associated partners, so-called extra supporters in the project. And for instance, the non-profit organization Regional Economic Development Agency is one of them. And you're right about to find out some more details about this organization and the region all in all.
Maybe we can show the map of Kaliningrad so that you, yeah, there you see it. It's right between Lithuania and Poland, near the Curonian
Lagoon. Curonian
yeah.
Spit.
Everyone's destiny, probably.
And of course, one might wonder how Russia fits into such a EU project, but it would make no sense to talk about the Baltic Manors landscape without such an important sub-region.
Yeah. And that's why we are very happy that our project member Victoria joined us. And here are some greetings by her.
Let's watch.
Now we want to see how. Maybe we can have a look at Victoria, our partner.
Hello, my name is Victoria Korneva and I'm representing Kaliningrad Region, Russia in the Baltic Manors project. I want to wish a good luck to our colleagues in Sweden with their festival, and I prepare a small movie about the castles and the manors in Kaliningrad region. What's happening here? Who lives in this building? What is there? You can find everything, all answers in our video.
So, hi Victoria, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Thank you. Hello, Olga. Hello, Annika.
Everything fine over there in Kaliningrad?
Yes, we have a very busy tourist season. A lot of tourists, Russian tourists, coming to region to visit the Baltic Sea and to see what we have, what sightseeing.
So I guess some of them will also visit the Kaliningrad manors.
They already visited, yes, yes.
Yeah, are they open, some of them?
Most which are working with tourists are open. It's not all, because totally I counted, we have 11 castles and 25 manors which can be visited, but some of these castles and manors are in ruins and nobody can help tourists to explain, or nothing is happening there. But about 10 places we have where tourists can find something interesting. Some music festivals, some night fights, and of course museums and the owners which are really with honor waiting for tourists.
So you joined the South Baltic Manor project in September 2019, if I'm right.
Yes.
So a little bit later than the original crew. What was your intention to join us? And does the project live up to your expectations?
Yes, it's an interesting story because I was invited by Alexei Ignatiev, is the chief of Kaliningrad Economic Development Agency, and he know me as a person who developing a rural and local tourism in Kaliningrad. And he said, we are as associated partners in such an interesting project, Baltic Manors. So if you are interested, you can also be in this project, but it's a volunteer job with no any finance, but maybe it will be interesting. And I'm, for myself, person who are always looking forward and first doing, then I know that everything will come. And of course, I saw the opportunity to show Kaliningrad region in Europe for the tourists, also because we have new regulations with the visa. We now have electron visa, and with this visa, you can freely and free of charge come to visit to Kaliningrad region. So this is a chance for us to show a little bit piece of Russia, ex-Ost-Prussia, to new tourists. So that's why I'm in the project, and of course I meet very interesting partners, and I learn a lot from other partners, how they doing with the manors, how they help this business, and of course this information I can give to the Kaliningrad region owners of the manors. it's very important for us.
Great to hear it. It's really great news. Victoria, I've heard that Kaliningrad is actually quite different from the rest of Russia. And what can you tell about the general manor landscape in your region? What does the situation look like? Are there any pioneer projects or many other cooperations?
Yes, thank you. We really have a lot difference from Russia, real Russian territory, because historically it was Ost-Prussia, it was German territory, and the Königsberg before 1945. And then the tourists who are coming now, they see this difference because they it looks like Europe for them. It's look different. And the landscape, we still have a lot of old Teutonic castles and manors, German manors. It's of course not Russian, but lots of them are destroyed now because of the war, because of the life. But some we have in a good condition. In these manors, we have 3 hotels which are in these manors, and they look really good, really nice, and held very good. Some manors and some castles now had new owners who doing a repairment and who try to make attraction for tourists. This is, for example, Castle Waldau. It's a family came from Russia. They started to work with the Castle Waldau and started to grow asparagus there, the sparja. And now they are very good with this, very popular between tourists, and they did a great job on their castle. And another project, what I want to talk about is Castle Ragnit. It's a new name of, it's an old name German, but the name of the town now is Neman. It's on the border with Lithuania near the Neman River. And actually it's only ruins without a roof, but the town and the new owner, they won financial from the government to make their open tourist square and to make attractions there. So they're now doing a great job with the volunteers to clean all the territory, and they will do in September the festival there of cheese, because the new owner producing also cheese, very good cheese. And they want to make the great festival, and the next year they want to be in our festival, Baltic Manors.
Oh, that sounds lovely. That sounds lovely. I could go there straight away.
Welcome.
So, Victoria, how do manor owners respond to the idea of a Baltic Manor Festival in Kaliningrad? Are they keen to go? Do you have many participants already and who are, you know, ready to make a big thing next year?
We discussed this idea with people who are already doing something in the castles and manors, and most of them like the idea and want to participate because they're interested to invite tourists to their places. The main participant is Castle Waldau, because they already in the projects at the same time as me, and they really do a great job, and you will see it on video. But the other owners also want to be in this project because there will be international interests for them if we do all these things and we invite tourists to our territory. They are ready to make some event during the festival to invite artists and to show to the tourists what they did already, how it was historically, and they want to open the doors to invite guests. So actually I can tell about 10 places which will be for sure in the next year.
Oh, that sounds lovely to me. What do you think, Olga?
Yes, it sounds really exciting, and I can wait for the next year to finally go to Kaliningrad region.
Yeah, me too, me too. So let's cross fingers that we are back to normality quite soon, and then we can speak for
We will.
ourselves. Yeah.
And we're waiting for the get. And this time, for the, before the next year, we will try to spend very clever. We will work with the volunteers who can help to the foreign people, foreign tourists on these manors, on these places. Because, well, it's true, but in Russia, not a lot of people speaking English. Even you can, in Kaliningrad, you can find the mostly speaking German. But I hope tourists will find how to manage, how to navigate, and they can communicate on the, not on Russian, but on English or German. So we will be preparing all these things.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you so much. That sounds very exciting. So Victoria, see you soon. Have a lovely summer over there, and take care.
Yes, take care. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, Kaliningrad Region. That was our interview with our partner Victoria. And I have to admit that Kaliningrad for me is totally blank. I have no idea what to expect there. I imagine some magical, you know, fairy tale world, you know, this old Russian tradition. And on the other hand, of course, some modern impact. Have you been there yet, Olga?
Unfortunately not, but I definitely want to go there, hopefully next year.
Yeah, so I intended to go there this summer, but it didn't happen. But yeah, as we all have probably no clue what we can expect, why do we not switch to the next movies that will show us some pictures from manor houses in Kaliningrad to get an idea.
In the whole region, right?
Yeah, our partners really made an effort to put together a very informative film. So yeah, lean back and enjoy.
Kaliningrad is a unique tiny piece of modern Russia located in the heart of Europe on the Baltic coast between Lithuania and Poland. The city was called Königsberg from the time of its founding by the Teutonic Knights until the Second World War. The region has more than 700 historical monuments and cultural heritage sites. The great philosopher Immanuel Kant lived in Königsberg all his life. Among the main attractions of Kaliningrad, there are the cathedral, the Royal Gate fortifications, the Amber Museum, the one and only in Russia Museum of the World Ocean, the Botanical Garden. In summer, the city becomes a real festival venue of an international level. Festivals of fireworks and organ music, rock and jazz festivals, film and art festivals, and many more are being held in Kaliningrad. Kaliningrad region is a great choice for the sea and beach holidays. One of the best in the region are the beaches in Yantarny settlement, which a few years back have received the highest international beach award, the Blue Flag. One of the most visited natural parks in Russia is the Curonian Spit National Park, which is located on a narrow strip of land between the salty Baltic Sea and the freshwater Curonian Lagoon. The natural uniqueness of the national park territory is that it is the largest sand bay bar in the world. Its dune landscapes are distinguished by their exceptional beauty and aesthetic impact on human beings and are an impressive object for the ecotourism development. Kaliningrad is a city of sunstone. As of today, the largest amber reserves in the world are located in the region. In Yantarny, guests can visit the museum and the site of amber extraction, or they can explore the unique amber inclusions collections at the Amber Museum in Kaliningrad. The famous Tilsiter cheese was born in East Prussian town of Tilsit, Sovetsk nowadays. Over time, the recipe was not lost, and you can visit Deutsches Haus cheese factory to see how the famous Tilsiter is made and, of course, taste that aromatic cheese. More than 1 million Russian and foreign tourists visit the Kaliningrad region every year. Kaliningrad has become the intersection of various historical and cultural traditions. This is one of the most popular tourist destinations in Russia. You saw only a small part of the history of the Kaliningrad land, but we hope that even this short acquaintance aroused your interest and desire to visit the Amber region, the westernmost corner of Russia. We will meet you as dear guests and to make your stay interesting, comfortable and
Waldau Castle. The first wooden fortification in Waldau was built in 1264. At the beginning of the 14th century, it was decided to build a new stone castle on the spot on the bank of the stream, at the foot of the hill, and to create an administrative center on this territory. In 1457, the old building was turned into a residential castle, and then it became a summer residence of the Grand Master of the Teutonic Order. When the order was secularized in 1525, the castle turned into a seat for the administrative authorities in the district of Waldau. In 1720, the royal government of Prussia leased Waldau. From the time the castle housed an agricultural school, which was transferred to Königsberg. After that, the building was mainly rebuilt. The towers and fortress walls were finally demolished. Two wings of the castle have preserved to the present day, the southern and the western, with the cellars from the older time. An agricultural school was set up in the castle building in 1945, and then left wing was used as a hostel of the dormitory. Waldau Castle was transferred to the Russian Orthodox Church in 2010. There is a museum in the western wings of the building where various exhibits about Prussian history and the history of Waldau Castle are located. The southern wing is being restored by Sorokin's family, entrepreneurs from Belgorod who rented the building from the Russian Orthodox Church. Sorokin's family are partners of the Baltic Manors Festival and preparing for the next year Sparja Festival.
In this year we want to do a festival of Sparta, but coronavirus, quarantine, but we have a team to sort a Sparta and eat it the whole year. But for next year we plan to have a festival of Sparta too. Welcome to Castle Waldau.
У нас есть уже чем удивить. Во-первых, мы подготовили зеленую сцену. У нас есть исключительно характерные для фестиваля Спаржи репертуар. У нас подготовлена печь. Спаржи будут жарить, спаржи будут парить, спаржа будет в пицце, спаржа будет с рыбой, спаржа будет в кляре. Она будет на каждой площадке своя спаржа будет готовиться и на разный манер. Мы ждем Baltic Manors в гости и будем рады рецептам приготовления спаржи от всех, кто входит в ассоциацию.
Oh, look at that Asparagus Festival, Olga. That sounds lovely, doesn't it?
It sounds really delicious. And I think it's so inspiring to see how, so to say, a normal family has such an idea to revive a castle. It's incredible.
And it's even nice. It's the same in Kaliningrad as we experience in all our other partner countries, that you have this pioneering spirit that a normal family, so to say, takes up on a ruin and says, okay, I take care of you, you know, I invest my life to maintain you, to make you accessible to the public, to restore you, however, and just as we've seen in this film, it really makes me want to pack my bag and go there straight away to meet the people, because I think they are really lovely.
Yes, same with me.
And it's the same plan as I had intended with Lithuania this summer. I wanted to go there. Apparently, due to the pandemic situation, we cancelled that. but I will go there anyways as soon as the situation is better. As we can see, it's Western Lithuania, or as you can already call, Little Lithuania, and maybe we can show our partner Raza for a short intro to give you an idea who's behind the scenes in that region. Okay.
Hello, greetings from Lithuania. Today we invite you to an amazing place at the Baltic seaside resort Palanga. Resort Palanga is a resort established Count Tiškevičius and his family. We invite you to enjoy the film of the heritage of Count Tiškevičius. They had around 99 manors in Lithuania. Today we will show you not only the manor house and palace of Tiškevičius, but we will inform you about the history of the family, about the cultural heritage of this family. So I hope you will enjoy this film. And back to studio, Annika.
Hello there. We are in Palanga, Lithuania, and today we will see and hear something interesting about this resort town on the Baltic coast. The palace, now Palanga Amber Museum, has an extensive collection of amber jewellery and other artefacts. History says that the Tiškevič family had 99 manors and palaces across the Baltic coast. Fun fact, if you own 100, your taxes would greatly increase, so the family kept it at 99. Let's see what's inside.
So here on the walls we see the portraits of Felix and Antonina Tiškevič. We see really strong personalities that created Palanga Resort. And thanks to this family, we have this Amber Museum and the park. And it is like a crossroad of cultures, because the park was created by French landscape designer Edouard François André, and the mansion by German architect Franz Heinrich Schwechter. So here we are in a particular space of the mansion that once was a former chapel of the counts, family chapel where they prayed. Today it's sacred in another sense. We represent Lithuanian artists' works.
Many young people start their businesses here in Palanga. This historical and stylish hotel is created for today's world. Once you've arrived, you'll be asking yourself, why are there no room numbers here? Let's hear from the owner herself.
After renovating the villa for 3 years, we opened in 2018 and we've been working since for 2 years. All of our bedrooms, we have 10 bedrooms upstairs, are named after the whole family, and so each family member gets a room. Sofia Tiškevičienė, she was very kind-hearted, and therefore, after her husband died, she lived for 28 years. She lived in Villa Latilis, which is now a Palanga museum. And we have a room dedicated to her, which overlooks that part of the hill. So for us, it's very nice. Thank you so much.
Annapolis. This is one of the first Tiškevič family mansions ever built. Who designed and who built this actual manor is a mystery. No records have ever been found. The Count's own mother, Sophia, whenever a celebration, gathering or party was on, would be found working hard at the Kurhaus buffet.
In 1877, Count Juozapas Tiškevičius built a first restaurant, hotel, concert, performance hall. This all included in wall building, which was called a kurhaus. It was dedicated for seasonal entertainments. It became a prestigious resort center and was the most luxurious and active gathering place for upper-class holidaymakers.
On summer evenings, people rushing through the park. They hear music, from a swinging big band to a symphonic orchestra. A brilliant atmosphere, with many musical and other events taking place. And of course, the Pier of Palanga, symbol of the whole Lithuanian sea coast. You can see the L-shaped stones, which is the foundation of the first pier in Palanga. Guess who built it? That's right, the Tiškevič family. Thank you for watching, and while we are waiting to see you in Palanga, I'll leave you with this stunning drone footage.
I could use a little something, room is spinning, where I'm living, feeling kinda lonely, I could use a little something. Don't give me up, I seen the light, I see the reason in the night, and every time I close my eyes, guess I just need you by my side.
See you in Palanga.
It's cold, I need you when the lights go low, and my heart gets cold, I need you more than you know.
Oh, that looks lovely, doesn't it? It just wants to make you go there immediately, straight away. I was actually kind of sighing seeing this film because I thought, oh my God, I could have been there this summer, but we can definitely be there, or hopefully be there next summer. That's totally on the agenda. So, and the Baltic Manor Festival in Lithuania will be held
in the end of June.
At the end of June, probably the last weekend, 25th, 26th of June. So, yeah, maybe, hopefully, we can join that event. And our partners in Denmark will also hold their event. We don't know the exact date yet, but nevertheless, you can be sure that they are really making an effort to find the partners and to get people to open up their houses and to show, hey, see, this is my home. Because in Denmark, the situation is quite a bit different. Many houses are still owned by the same family as have been for for many years. So it's not that easy to sneak into a Danish manor house. Lucky me, due to this project, I have seen some of them. And one that you can certainly see as a normal visitor is our partner manor in Pederstrup, and we will now show you what this is about. But first we have a glimpse on the map to show you. Lolland-Falster is a small island in the south of Denmark. Only two, you know, that's the island you enter when you go from Rostock with the ferry for just takes 2 hours and zack. And now we head to the movie of our Danish partners.
Welcome to Denmark. I'm Louise. I am Lisbeth, and I would like to welcome you to the Manor landscape on Lolland and Falster. We are here at Pederstrup on the western part of Lolland. The manor landscape at Lolland-Falster has the highest density of manors in the whole of Denmark. We look so much forward to sharing this landscape with you, with more than 50 manors all around. Back to the studio in Germany. Pederstrup Manor, you can meet the Ramin family. They owned this place at the end of the 18th century, and here they lived their life with their many children. The French philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who inspired the Ramin family, wrote about children, about nature, about how children should be brought up in a manner that made them explore the world and live in connection with nature. And these thoughts is the foundation of how the Ramin family lived. And these thoughts you can meet in our exhibition. And we are here in the room that tells about family life. We see the family picture that was painted in 1790 with a mother who's breastfeeding her child, with children who are playing, and with a family with grass under their feet. And also we tell about one of the first described birthday celebrations in Denmark that was held here at Pederstrup for the grandchild of the couple Ramin in 1818, where they drank hot chocolate, had cake and sang, just the way we celebrate children's birthdays still in Denmark. Count Ramin was one of the great reformers of the late 18th century in Denmark. In this period, many reforms were conducted in Denmark. The agricultural style was changed, forests were saved, and there was given a law that made all children in Denmark be able to go to school. We are here in the workroom, in the office of Count Ramin, and we have decorated it in a manner that shows all of his interests. He was a man of the Enlightenment. He knew something about everything and was deeply interested in many things, not just nature, agriculture, but also philosophy and so on. But one of the best things we have here in the museum is this map of Pederstrup Manor and all the fields around it. And here you can actually see these reforms, how they were conducted. Count Reventlow experimented with reforming the agriculture on his own manner, and then he afterwards made these experiments into law concerning the whole of Denmark. You can see old-style fields where the peasants of a village share one field and thus split it in many little halves. And then you can see what it looked like after the reforms, where every little farm was moved, so that it was apart, not living, they were not living in villages anymore, and everybody was more individually responsible for their own lives, which was one of the main features of these reforms. When you visit Pederstrup, you can explore the dining room of Count Reventlow and Countess Reventlow. You can lift the lid on the tureen, see what they had for their soup. You can smell the wine, you can touch some of the things, and you can get the feeling of what it might have been like to actually be able to sit at a table like this and use old Chinese porcelain, to use some of the new fashionable porcelain made in the Copenhagen factory. And you can touch the silverware, things that you cannot do in many other museums. So we invite you into the world of the Reventlows when you visit Pederstrup.
Thanks to our partners, Danish partners, Anne-Elisabeth and Louise, for the contribution to this video. Yes, and right now we are going to switch
straight away to Poland, to our Polish partners, first in northern Kashubia, and later on you will see beautiful images from the region of Parseta, which is more in the south. Yeah, but first we want to start with two films that we haven't seen yet, from Krokowa and Grabkowo. And first we have a look at the map, of course, to see where we are. So there you see northern Kashubia first, and then we switch to Parseta River. And yeah, very wonderful region, beautiful, raw somehow. Yeah, it's just developing. It's really magnificent, beautiful nature, which is still, yeah, you could say a bit wild, more in Parseta region. So that is really worth going there. And now we switch to the first movie of Grabkowo.
Welcome to Poland. My name is Rafał Glazik. In the name of Polish partners of South Baltic Manors Project, I would like to invite you for the second edition of online Baltic Manor Festival located in Sweden.
Dzień dobry, ja nazywam się Rafał Glazik i chciałbym dzisiaj Was serdecznie zaprosić na wirtualną podróż po pewnym pałacu. Pałac ten znajduje się w zachodniej części województwa pomorskiego, a zwie się Grabkowo. Grabkowo to zjawiskowe miejsce, które łączy ze sobą wiele pasji i o tych pasjach opowie nam jego właścicielka, pani Karolina Gołębiowska. Serdecznie zapraszam. ...800 lat to jest kawał historii Ale Państwa historia tutaj wraz z małżonkiem zaczęła się 20 lat temu.
Przeszło 20 lat temu, tak. Moja obecność w Grabkowie wywodzi się z takiej pasji, którą dzielę od lat praktycznie wczesnej młodości, spędzając wakacje u dziadków w nieodległej wsi. Można powiedzieć, że miałam przed oczami właśnie taki los rozsypujących się majątków, pałaców i przyjaciele moich dziadków, państwo owczarscy, opowiadali mi od lat 80. właśnie o przepięknym pałacu w Grabkowie, nieodległym, w którym mieszkali zaraz po wojnie i spędzili tutaj swoją młodość. I takie obrazy właśnie zatrzymane w kadrze, w opowieściach sprawiły, że ja tu któregoś dnia na początku lat 90. przyjechałam. Przed oczami zastałam już akt, powiedzmy, dewastacji mocnej, ponieważ był to rok 93, 94, kiedy w pałacu już nie było życia, były już za to potężne dziury i możliwość tak naprawdę wejścia dla każdego. To zrobiło na mnie bardzo ponure wrażenie. Tak zaczęło się tutaj moje życie zawodowe, również prywatne, ponieważ mąż dzieli ze mną pasję do tego miejsca i z powodzeniem tą przygodę ciągniemy. Już przeszło 20 lat, rośnie już kolejne pokolenie naszych córek, które staramy się delikatnie zarażać naszymi pasjami. Takim słowem kluczem właśnie dla mnie, dla męża, to jest to słowo pasja. I do rzeczy autentycznych, które trwają, które przetrwają. Grabkowo osobiście dla mnie jest skarbem, który z rodziną mieliśmy szczęście odkryć dla siebie, a teraz po długotrwałym, wieloletnim remoncie z miłą chęcią dzielimy się tą przestrzenią również właśnie z miłośnikami sztuki w ramach warsztatów, ale nie tylko. Mają tutaj miejsce też przepiękne przyjęcia, których formułą jest idea genius loci, czyli nawet jeżeli to są wesela, to staram się takich potencjalnych młode pary zarazić właśnie wiedzą i pasją wypływającą gdzieś z tego miejsca.
Organizujecie Państwo tutaj i warsztaty, i wernisaże związane z malarstwem, też i rzeźbą, ale głównie chyba malarstwem.
Od dawna jestem osobą malującą, tworzącą, kreującą taką swoją rzeczywistość, swój świat najbliższy. Okazją, by tą pasję malarską jakby tak zrealizować w pełni, był pomysł plenerów artystycznych, malarsko-rzeźbiarskich, międzynarodowych. Nazwałam to Pomerania Genius Loci. I idea polega na tym, że zapraszamy tutaj wspaniałych malarzy z Polski, ale również z Białorusi, z Niemiec. Taka druga odsłona warsztatów, które tutaj prowadzimy, właśnie skierowana do młodszych, którzy właśnie już są coraz więksi, coraz sprawniej posługują się pędzlem, drutem i prowadzę również zajęcia dla młodzieży. To jest w ramach Akademii Genius Loci, którą prowadzę w roku szkolnym w Szczecinie. Natomiast tutaj w pałacu na zasadach weekendowych, wakacyjnych zbieramy się tutaj w kameralnym, 10-osobowym gronie. Moim takim głównym zadaniem, jako zadaniem pedagogicznym jest po pierwsze uwrażliwienie odbiorcy młodego na to, co również na mnie działa, czyli na to najbliższe otoczenie w Grabkowie. Po czym pomagam je zmaterializować, czyli przełożyć na medium malarskie.
Zamek w Krokowej jest jednym z 20 obiektów leżących na szlaku dworów i pałaców północnych Kaszub. Jest on zarazem częścią unijnego projektu Dwory Południowego Bałtyku. Otoczony pięknym starodrzewem pałac w Krokowej znajduje się na miejscu historycznego gródka z połowy XV wieku. Opasany fosą zameczek rycerski przebudowano na przełomie XVI-XVII wieku, burząc boczne wieże oraz dobudowując od frontu okrągłą wieżę i klatkę schodową. Dawne elementy fortyfikacyjne przekształcono w kompozycje ogrodowe, zaś w miejscu palisady posadzono drzewa. Obecny wygląd pałacu z trzypiętrowym korpusem głównym i 2 bocznymi skrzydłami pochodzi z XVIII wieku. Przez ponad 700 lat pałac zamieszkiwał ród von Krokow, mogący poszczycić się wieloma nietuzinkowymi postaciami. W latach 1536-1599 właścicielem pałacu i okolicznych dóbr był wybitny dyplomata, wojskowy i doradca polskich monarchów Reinhold von Krokow. U schyłku jego życia w pałacu gościł w drodze powrotnej ze Szwecji król polski Zygmunt III Waza. W 1782 roku dobra krokowskie wystawiono na przymusową licytację, którą wygrała w imieniu swojego męża Luiza von Krokow. Założycielka słynnego na całą Europę wielkiego parku romantyczno-krajobrazowego, którego najbliższą pałacowi część możemy podziwiać do dzisiaj. W 1791 roku Luiza sprowadziła do Krokowej niemieckiego filozofa Johanna Gottlieba Fichtego, który jako nauczyciel jej dzieci spędził tutaj 2 lata, tworząc podwaliny swojej myśli filozoficznej. Pałac po burzliwych wydarzeniach XX wieku popadł w ruinę. W 1990 roku z inicjatywy Albrechta von Krokow oraz ówczesnego wójta gminy Krokowa powstała Fundacja Europejskie Spotkania Kaszubskie Centrum Kultury Krokowa, która przy pomocy funduszy Fundacji Współpracy Polsko-Niemieckiej odbudowała pałac z przeznaczeniem na hotel, restaurację i muzeum. Obecnie w pałacu mieści się hotel na 70 miejsc noclegowych. Restauracja w zamku oferuje szeroki wachlarz zarówno wyszukanych potraw, jak i regionalnych smaków. Przy okazji zaspokajania apetytu goście mogą podziwiać piękną barokową polichromię sufitową z XVII wieku. We wnętrzach pałacu możemy podziwiać znajdujący się w kawiarni barokowy piec, repliki renesansowych pieców z XIX wieku czy zabytkowe elementy snycerki. W charakteryzującej się doskonałą akustyką sali balowej regularnie urządzane są koncerty, zaś pałacowe sale zdobią czasowe wystawy dawnych i współczesnych twórców. Zapraszamy do odwiedzenia jedynej rezydencji rodowej na Pomorzu o ponad 700-letniej historii, której przyświeca motto In Deo Spero, czyli w Bogu nadzieja.
Castle Krokowa, that was northern Kashubia. We are now switching to the second part of our Polish partners, to Parseta region. Last time we didn't really have much information about them, so we can be really excited because they prepared a really nice material for us.
Yes, the Union of Towns and Communes in the Parseta River Basin contributed to this movie, and well, let's watch.
Yeah.
Cześć, witamy Was w Polsce, w słonecznym dorzeczu Parsenty. Związek Miast i Gmin Dorzecza Parsenty jest jednym z beneficjentów projektu South Baltic Manors. Zrzesza 19 gmin położonych w środkowej części województwa zachodniopomorskiego. Teren ten charakteryzował się bardzo ciekawą i burzliwą historią, czego świadectwem są pozostałości po 80 pałacach, dworach i zamkach. Dzisiaj przybliżymy Wam historię kilku z nich.
Witamy na zamku Drachim. Zamek Drachim został zbudowany przez zakon Joannitów w 1360 roku. Budowa trwała około 6 lat. Zaraz po zbudowaniu tego zamku Kazimierz Wielki upomniał się o tę ziemię i ten zamek odebrał Joannitom. Po śmierci króla Kazimierza ten zamek został ponownie odebrany przez zakon Joannitów i dopiero w 1407 roku, jeszcze przed bitwą pod Grunwaldem, Władysław Jagiełło po 3-dniowym oblężeniu zdobył ten zamek i ustanowił tutaj starostwo drachimskie, gdzie był w rękach, we władaniach rąk polskich przez 250 lat. W 1756 podczas wojny prusko-rosyjskiej ten zamek zostaje spalony, zniszczony i już nigdy nie zostaje odbudowany. Wszystko, co zobaczymy na zamku, jest rekonstrukcją, ponieważ w latach 90., gdyby tego obiektu nie przejęło Muzeum Motoryzacji i Techniki z Otrębus, prawdopodobnie pozostałaby tylko tutaj górka, ponieważ okoliczni mieszkańcy przyjeżdżali sobie tutaj i zabierali materiał, taki jak cegły i kamienie. Od 95 jest udostępnione dla zwiedzających. Możemy tutaj spędzić miło chwilę, możemy fajnie się zabawić. Są przyrządy tortur, z których można korzystać. Są także średniowieczne stroje, które można założyć, mniej więcej takie jak ja tutaj teraz mam. Zrobić sobie ładne zdjęcia. Jest bardzo piękny taras widokowy, częściowo można wyjść na mury, gdzie jest bardzo piękny widok na jezioro Srebrne, które zresztą ma pierwszą klasę czystości wody. Po drugiej stronie zamku leży jezioro Drabsko.
Znajdujemy się w zespole pałacowo-folwarcznym w Koziej Górze, która, cała Kozia Góra jest pod opieką konserwatora zabytków. Jest zabytkiem rejestrowym pałac i spichlerz. Jesteśmy właścicielami od 2016 roku. No i przede wszystkim porządkujemy tutaj stan techniczny tych obiektów. Odbudowujemy dawny kształt całego założenia, co nam się, można powiedzieć, już udało w zdecydowanej ilości obiektów. Pozostaje nam jeszcze, i to mamy w planie w przyszłym roku, przynajmniej zabezpieczenie i wykonanie nowego pokrycia dachowego spichlerza, tak zwanego napoleońskiego, bo w okresie wojny napoleońskiej był ten spichlerz modernizowany pod potrzeby armii napoleońskiej, dlatego nazywamy go napoleońskim. Zachęcamy wszystkich przynajmniej do odwiedzenia na tą chwilę. Mamy już improwizowane miejsce na organizowanie występów bądź konferencji, ale to jest wszystko w takich warunkach raczej polowych, a nie takich, jakie są dyktowane dzisiejszymi wymogami. Tym niemniej obejrzenie tego założenia jako, można powiedzieć, uratowanego od całkowitego niebytu jest zachęcające do tego, żeby poświęcić ten czas i po prostu tu przybyć, zobaczyć, jak to mogło wyglądać na przełomie XIX i XX wieku. Bo to, co w tej chwili widzimy, to jest absolutnie przełom XIX i XX wieku. Sam pałac przebudowywany wielokrotnie, a wieża, w której się znajdujemy i w której również była ulokowana loża masońska, pochodzi z drugiej połowy XIX wieku. Przepięknie wijąca się przez parkę rzeka Młynkówka też zachęca do tego, żebyśmy po prostu ją oglądali. Podobny obiekt, a może skalą większy niż ten, posiadamy w powiecie drawskim, wieś Siemczyno, gmina Czaplinek, i tam prace restauratorskie i remontowe są na daleko dalej posunięte, ale też właścicielami tamtych obiektów jesteśmy od 1999 roku ubiegłego wieku, a samego folwarku od 2003 roku.
To przepiękne miejsce położone nad jeziorem, w zabytkowym parku, w krajobrazie pięknej przyrody. Miejsce połączone trochę z historią, trochę z naturą. Sam budynek, dworek to miejsce zabytkowe. Pałac ma historię, z którą warto się zapoznać. W latach 1939-1945 urzędowała tutaj Aberwa. Później, pod koniec wojny, w ośrodku umieszczono pilotów. Był to ośrodek leczenia stresów pilotów Luftwaffe. Później oczywiście teren objęła Armia Czerwona. Później, jak już, że tak powiem, budynek przeszedł w ręce Polaków, tak? Polacy przejęli ten budynek, zabytkowy budynek, do tej pory zabytkowy. Zakład włókienniczy z Łodzi był właścicielem tego budynku. Tutaj przysyłano dzieci pracowników na kolonie. Obecnie w Luboradzy znajduje się kompleks wypoczynkowy. Posiadamy 3 budynki. Stary zabytkowy dworek, który jest utrzymany w takim starym zabytkowym stylu z meblami i trochę nawiązuje do historii. Jak wchodzimy do jego środka, przypominamy sobie, jak gdyby przez chwilę chociaż, przenosimy się w czasy dawniejsze, jakąś tam czujemy w sobie, że tak powiem, powiew historii w tym budynku. Największy budynek, pawilon źródlany. Jest to budynek, w którym znajduje się restauracja, miejsca noclegowe oraz cała strefa spa. Na terenie ośrodka posiadamy basen, posiadamy jacuzzi, saunę suchą i łaźnię parową. Powstał także trzeci, najmniejszy budynek, tak zwany dom zielarza. Są tam apartamenty rodzinne na pobyty dla gości, przede wszystkim indywidualnych. Luboradza, dwór pomorski w Luboradzy obecnie, kompleks wypoczynkowy, także ośrodek szkoleniowo-wypoczynkowy, posiada również salę konferencyjną. Przyjmujemy gości indywidualnych, organizujemy szkolenia, imprezy okolicznościowe, wesela, pikniki wszelkiego rodzaju. Położeni jesteśmy nad jeziorem, w lesie, w ciszy, z dala od zgiełku miasta. Serdecznie zapraszam do odwiedzenia naszego magicznego miejsca, skorzystania z naszej restauracji, posmakowania pysznych potraw, także nawiązujących do miejsca, w którym jesteśmy, i odwiedzenia naszego miejsca, poznania historii i zapoznania się z tym, co Państwu oferujemy. Serdecznie zapraszam.
Historia pałacu sięga XVIII wieku. Po II wojnie światowej, jak większość majątków w okolicach Rymania, został przejęty przez państwowe gospodarstwa rolne. W latach 80. była tutaj nawet restauracja i hotel. Od 2008 roku obiekt jest własnością obecnych właścicieli, czyli spółki Rymań Resort and Country Club. i od 2008 roku rozpoczynał się remont. Obiekt był dość mocno zniszczony. Swoją świetność odzyskał w 2013 roku, kiedy to otworzyliśmy działalność hotelarsko-gastronomiczną. Obecnie mamy 29 pokoi, restaurację z wyśmienitą kuchnią. Jesteśmy członkiem dziedzictwa kulinarnego Pomorza Środkowego, co oznacza, że dania serwowane w naszej restauracji cechuje bardzo wysoka jakość i działamy na produktach regionalnych. Posiadamy również zaplecze spa, w skład którego wchodzi basen kryty, sauna, jacuzzi. Mamy również mini siłownię, plac zabaw dla dzieci, salon zabaw dla dzieci w środku pałacu, jak również gabinety kosmetyczne i gabinety wellness. Działamy cały rok, organizujemy bardzo dużo imprez konferencyjnych, bankietów, przyjęć, ponieważ oprócz hotelu mamy również salę bankietowo-konferencyjną na 150 osób, która jest zbudowana zaraz przy pałacu, co daje nam możliwość organizowania kilku imprez jednocześnie, czyli impreza weselna nie przeszkadza gościom, którzy nocują w pałacu. Działamy cały rok, zapraszamy serdecznie do skorzystania z naszych usług.
South Baltic Manors to kolejny realizowany przez Związek Miast i Gmin do Rzecza Parsenty projekt.
To projekt dotyczący tych ziem i jej mieszkańców.
Warto zadbać o to,
aby te świadectwa przeszłości i wspólnej historii
uratować od zniszczenia i zapomnienia.
Dreamy Parseta region. Oh, that was awesome to watch, and it really makes me want to go there as well again. So I hope I didn't promise too much. As you can see, each region really holds a lot of miracles for you guys. So next time you plan your vacation, maybe you want to go to Parseta region or Lithuania, but definitely hinterland, we hope. And to give you even more impressions, we are now switching over to Germany. Luckily, the German Baltic Manors Festival could be held in June, and each year Castle or Manor Zinzow is a valuable partner of it, and very nice people who have been there for quite a while now, I think more than 10 years, and really developed a place out of nowhere into a really functional microcosm, which works with the surroundings. So it's not some artificial place, but they really try to involve the people around them. So beautiful place, and I would say we now show on the map which region of Germany we are speaking of. So that is the farthest northeast, where we are right now. Actually, right now at the moment too, while we are here hosting this online festival. And yeah, let's switch to Manor Zinzow.
Hello, my name is Claudia, and we're sending greetings to Sweden and wish you very good luck with your first Baltic Manor Festival today. And we are representing the Association of Manor Houses and Castles in Mecklemburg-Vorpommern, Germany.
My name is Manfred. We are right in the front of the Ludolf Manor, which is one of the oldest in the region, and the region is the Mecklenburg Lake District, beautiful area with lots of manor houses, mostly touristically used.
I'm Robert. All greetings from us to you, to Sweden. We will present two of our houses here from Germany. One, the Castle Kummerow, very nice place for modern photography, like a museum. And the other one you will see is the manorial heritage of Battinsthal, and the family of Heino von Schuckmann will show up in some minutes.
Herzlich willkommen auf unserer Gutsanlage in Zinzow. Wir sind mit unserer Familie 1998 hierher gekommen. Die Gutsanlage war ja zerstückelt und dann haben wir begonnen, nach und nach die verschiedenen Teile der Gutsanlage wieder zusammenzuführen. Dazu gehört zunächst das Gutshaus im Hintergrund hier, dann die Brennerei auf der anderen Seite in der großen Sichtachse. Das älteste Gebäude auf unserer Anlage ist der ehemalige Arbeitspferdestall aus dem 18. Jahrhundert, den wir heute zur Unterbringung von einer kleinen Kutschensammlung nutzen. Alles umfassend haben wir dann noch eine Landwirtschaft angegliedert. Wir betreiben die gesamte Anlage, wie wir es nennen, als Familienbetrieb. Das heißt, jeder ist für alles zuständig, aber die einzelnen Bereiche haben besondere Zuständigkeiten durch einzelne Familienmitglieder. So ist meine Schwiegertochter zuständig für den Bereich Schafzucht, mein Sohn zuständig für den Bereich Landwirtschaft und Wasserbüffel, meine Frau bewirtschaftet die Gäste und die Veranstaltungen. Ich befasse mich mit der Koordination der Gesamtheit. Wir haben insgesamt 6 Ferienwohnungen und 4 konventionelle Wohnungen in diesem Haus. Und in der Belletage organisieren wir Veranstaltungen.
Ja, und dann die Familienfeiern, Hochzeiten,
Familienfeiern, genau.
Geburtstage, Firmenjubiläen, alles, was so angefragt wird.
Die Brennerei ist das zentrale Gebäude auf dem Wirtschaftshof. Wir haben diese Brennerei vor einigen Jahren saniert, haben uns das lange nicht getraut, weil sie sehr baufällig war. Das Gebäude selbst ist eine Brennerei gewesen. Da hat man früher aus Kartoffeln Rohsprit, also eigentlich Industriealkohol, hergestellt. Das wird heute anders gemacht, in noch wieder anderen Gebäuden. Aber wir haben uns diesem Thema des Brennens irgendwie uns doch dafür interessiert und haben uns dann Brennereien angeguckt und haben dann gesagt, Mensch, was macht man am besten aus einer Brennerei? Vielleicht ist es doch eine Brennerei. Und haben so das Gebäude auch dahingehend hergerichtet. Haben dann vor einigen Jahren angefangen, Spirituosen herzustellen und die hier regional auch zu vermarkten.
Wir züchten rauwolliges pommersches Landschaft im Herdbuch seit 2009. Haben die ursprünglich angeschafft, um den Landschaftspark zu pflegen, da wir gemerkt haben, dass das eigentlich ein Kulturgut ist. Solche alten Rassen zu halten und sie auch einzusetzen, macht es mir sehr viel Freude, dass wir auch mittlerweile weitere Naturschutzflächen bewirtschaften können. Wir haben etwa 200 Schafe, davon sind etwa 130 Mutterschafe. Die Rasse hat eine sehr schöne spinnfähige Wolle in verschiedenen Grauschattierungen, von grau, graublau, blaugrau bis blau. Und das Tolle ist, wenn man so eine alten Rassen nutzt, kann man auch altes Handwerk unterstützen.
Nachdem wir uns in die Thematik der Landschaftspflege mit der Bewirtschaftung des Parkes und den Schafen eigentlich so weit eingearbeitet hatten, hat sich dann noch ein weiterer Zweig in der Landwirtschaft ergeben. Und zwar ist hier ganz im Prinzip direkt im Anschluss an den Park ein großes Renaturierungsgebiet entstanden. Und das auch gepflegt werden sollte. An der Stelle ist das aber nichts mehr für Schafe gewesen, sondern das ist ein ideales Einsatzgebiet für Wasserbüffel. Die Wasserbüffelhaltung bei uns ist eine reine Muttertierhaltung. Und genauso wie bei den Schafen ist es so, dass wir auch bei den Wasserbüffeln alle Produkte über unseren Hofladen selbst vermarkten. Das sind im Wesentlichen Fleischprodukte, da kann aber auch mal ein Fell dazugehören. Hörner, alles was man sich so vorstellt.
Wir freuen uns natürlich immer, wenn wir sehen, dass Besucher durch den Park spazieren und die Natur hier wahrnehmen, denn wir mähen den Park ja nicht nur für uns, sondern gerade auch für die Besucher. Und er ist öffentlich, das heißt, jeder kann jederzeit kommen.
Ich hoffe, dass wir Ihr Interesse geweckt haben damit und wir können Sie in großer Zahl hier in Zukunft begrüßen.
So, Zinzow, just another very good example of how one family takes over a ruin or a haunted place, so to say, and turns it into a vital cosmos again. Very brilliant example, actually, and always nice to go there. The family really connects with the village people. We are now switching from the north of Vorpommern to the south of Vorpommern to our dear friend Heino von Schuckmann, who and some of his family members own Manor Battinsthal, and yeah, let's see for ourselves.
Ja, herzlich willkommen im äußersten Nordosten der Bundesrepublik, im Ort Battinsthal und dem Gutshaus Battinsthal. Mein Name ist Heino von Schuckmann und ich bemühe mich seit bald einem Jahrzehnt darum, dieses Haus, was über 10 Jahre leer stand, wieder herzurichten. 1818 wurde das Grundstück hier von einem Vorfahren von uns erworben. Nach 1945 wohnten hier in dem Haus über 100 Flüchtlinge, also jedes Zimmer einschließlich der Kellerräume war eigentlich Herberge für eine Familie. Das ging dann bis in die 90er Jahre ungefähr so. Dann stand es 10 Jahre leer, bevor ein sehr rührender Denkmalinteressent versucht hat, mit wenig finanziellen Mitteln das erst einmal notzusichern, der dann aber gemerkt hat, dass es ihn überfordert. Und so kamen wir dann 2012 letztlich in den Besitz. Hier liegen noch 30 gefallene deutsche Soldaten von April 45, die meinten in den letzten Kriegstagen hier noch das Vaterland verteidigen zu müssen. Und zum Teil sind es wohl auch Soldaten gewesen, die da drüben in der Gärtnerei, das war ein Lazarett, und auf der Flucht haben sie dann die nicht mehr transportfähigen Kameraden wohl auch erschossen, und dann hier gelassen. Wir haben jedes Jahr ein Kapellenfest, wo die Erträge gesammelt werden. Das ist hier vorne im Park mit Würstchen, Kuchen und sonst was, wo die Gemeinde kocht und bäckt und feiert. Die Einnahmen werden verwendet und die Einnahmen der 3200 Sterne, die werden verkauft hier für 50 und 100 Euro, 50 in Silber, 100 in Gold. Auch gegen Spendenquittung natürlich von diesem Förderverein. Und damit haben wir dann so viel zusammengebracht, dass wir uns die ersten 23.000 Euro, und so viel hat nur die Apsis gekostet, dann vor 5 Jahren leisten konnten, hier zu restaurieren.
You know, Battinsthal is just another example of how a manor can actually revive your life, because I've been talking to Heino von Schuckmann several times, and it's always fascinating to see how this house occupies his mind and how he has all these thoughts and tries to develop the place, and how about the heating, how about who takes care of it, how can we maintain the chapel. He actually married there last year, so it's always very exciting to see how people make up their minds about those places. And yeah, maybe we want now to walk a little around Battinsthal inside, because during these 10 years they have already made quite big steps to refurnish and restore the inside, and they really turn it into a lovely place. Here you can see the library. they bought the house, I think it's more than 30 owners of this manor. They're all related, but nevertheless, I imagine it's not always that easy to, you know, find a solution that suits everyone the same way. But as we can see here, they obviously cooperate very well, if you ask me. And yeah, you can actually rent this place if you want to. I think they have more than 10 bedrooms. So for a family function or a vacation with friends and children, there's enough space to hang out for a while and just, you know, enjoy a little retreat within the nature and these old bricks. So it's always nice to see what turns out if people are willing to make something out of it. Maybe now we can switch to another beautiful house more westwards in Mecklenburg, Castle Kummerow, which is actually my favorite museum because it holds a contemporary collection of photographs. And it's not just the exhibition itself, which is always worth visiting, but the building itself, because the restoration concept is very sensitive and very, and it holds on to the history of the house. So they leave fragments that seem to be not okay, but actually for the visitor it's really nice to experience the past in a totally different context. So sometimes you don't even know if you should take more interest in the exposition or if you should rather look on the wooden floor, which is also magnificent in there. So Kummerow, here we go.
Schloss Kummerow was built around 1730 in the Baroque style. The noble family von Malzahn used to live here until the end of 1945. The family left and the community owned the house. It used to be a restaurant, primary school, secondary school. So there was always life in this house, which was good. After the fall of the wall, it had a couple of owners. Unfortunately, nothing happened. And around 2011, my father, my family, we bought this house. The entire ensemble is protected by the national heritage. When my father decided to rescue this building, he didn't have the plan to make it an exhibition space in the beginning. It was a process, and during the process he went through the house with lots of people, but especially artists. Him and the artists, they discovered that the house itself is actually a piece of art. All the traces you can see, the wall paintings, the patina, even like the windows and those little elements. My father could not destroy those traces of the history because it belongs to the house and it gives the house the personality. Everything that had to be replaced, he replaced. Everything else, he just tried his best to fixate it for the future and to keep it. So you have old and new coming together. In 2016, a private museum open to the public, and we're showing just photographies. Of course, here and there you can see a couple of sculptures, a little bit of video art. You can see Wolfgang Tillmans, Andreas Mühe, Andreas Gorski, Thomas Demand, and the list goes on. And also, very important, you can see pieces of art made by East German photographers. They took pictures in the East and were already renowned for their work, and nowadays there still are like Ute Mahler, Werner Mahler, Ulrich Wüst, but also Sibylle Bergemann. Those pictures from the East are not just pieces of art, they also have a close connection to this house because it is in East Germany, and to our family because we come from East Germany. My father bought those pictures always with a story. If he would be here, he could tell you to every piece a story why he thinks it should be here. I call it an emotional collection. We have visitors from all over the world. Most of them are people from Mecklemburg-Vorpommern. People coming here because it's an old castle or an old manor house. And then they're amazed by the art, and I would say they leave the house and they're art lovers. And then you have people coming here for the art, and they're amazed what the house is being renovated. Since the castle opened, people are moving to this village again, so it keeps the region alive as well. My father's vision, and also my vision, is to establish Schloss Kummerow as the center of culture in this region. We want the appreciation for art, but also the appreciation for such old buildings, and that other people see the beauty of this region. We see a lot of tourists and a lot of people interested in this region. The vision seems to be to fulfill itself sooner or later, which would make us very happy.
Well, thanks to both ladies from the Kummerow Castle for this wonderful movie, and of course to all of our partners who contributed to this international part of movies. And right now we're about to switch to Sweden, in Skane, where the real, so-called real physical festival is taking place today.
Yeah, so our Swedish partners prepared quite a bunch of material for us. There you can see again where we are. It's southern, in the region of Skane, Castle Svaneholm and Christinehof, and they both allied for this day to open the doors and show the people what they have prepared. They're actually quite different places, but what connects them is probably that both are more or less run by volunteers, so to say. They are not in a private ownership or run by this private ownership, but they are more or less run by several volunteers, and they're really, really cool people. And yeah, maybe we should now dive into our longest and last part, that of Sweden, and see what our partners have figured out for us.
Have fun.
Welcome to southeast of Skåne. I'm the vice president of the Museum Association at Svaneholm's Castle, and my name is Gunni Blixen.
And I am Mia Gröndahl, the president of the Cultural Association Christina Svenner at Christinehof Castle. Lovely to be here.
Yes.
And I must say, you have a wonderful dress. Tell me, Gunni, what is it?
Well, this is the dress from this district. The peasantry people would wear these things, this outfit, when at festivity occasions. And it's like a blouse and a long dress. And if you have very layers, I have an what do you call that?
It's a petticoat?
It's a petticoat.
Wow.
And an apron. And the jewelry I have is very important for the woman to show her wealth. And it has symbolic, how do you say, a symbolic
Value?
Value as well.
Mm.
And the more jewelry you had, the richer you were. The more textile you had, the richer you were. So this outfit represents this area. And you can tell if I'm a married woman or I'm an unmarried woman by wearing this headdress.
Lovely.
Okay.
And I'm only wearing my guide dress from Christinehof. I can't compete with you.
No.
This is just a costume for fun. Anyhow.
You look very well in it.
Well, thank you. Aren't you going to comment on my wig?
Very nice.
Thank you, my dear. Listen, we are partners.
Yes, that's
correct. And we are wonderful partners, I think. And wonderful partners to all of you who will visit us. And we have a ticket that allows you to visit both Svaneholm and Christinehof on the same ticket. And we are also inviting other castles to be partners with us.
Correct. And this is the castle tour that we have worked out. How many castles are there?
I believe we are 7 castles now in the castle tour.
Yeah. And a monastery as well?
Well, the monastery is included.
Okay, fine. And this we intend, we hope it's going to be fun and interesting for people to come and do the castle tour of this area.
Well, you can start either here at Svaneholm or you can start at Christinehof. And then you take the whole tour visiting all the other 5 castles and monasteries.
Welcome to Svaneholm's castle. Behind me you see a 4-wing Renaissance castle built in the beginning of 1500. At the time, this part of Sweden belonged to Denmark. There was a civil war going on in Denmark between the king and the nobility. The Hanseatic League was in decline, which meant that the ports in the Baltic Sea, along the Baltic coastline, were open for colonization. Pirates were harassing the coastline, and peasants were objecting against the higher tax burden. So the man who built this castle, he pulled down the old castle next to the church in Skurup and rebuilt this 4-wing Renaissance castle with a moat around it. If you look at this part of the building with the white frieze and the step gables, this is the oldest part. You can see the loopholes for far and close defense. This part was reconstructed in the late 1600, beginning of 1700. The man, Axel Gyllenstierna, had been out in Europe and was very impressed by the Baroque style. So he decided to extend the wing with 2 more blind floors. Another famous man residing at this castle was Rutger MacLean. He inherited the castle in the late 1700 and with 7,000 acres. And he is now over here in the park, sitting like a statue with his dog, looking at his castle.
Rutger MacLean is with no doubt the most famous owner of Svaneholm. He made himself into the history books with his large agricultural reforms, which started here at Svaneholm in 1785. Rutger, he inherited Svaneholm in 1782 at the age of 40, and he immediately started his reforms with the help of a young surveyor, called Gideon Wardman, who at the age of 22 came to MacLean's help. And it was a parcel reform. Every house, every farmhouse which were collected into villages were moved out from the village, placed on its own, and collected one piece of land around each farm. This became a success. 10 years after, more than twice as much people lived here and in relative welfare. Rutger MacLean, he was never married, but there are some rumors about mistresses and maybe some childs and surroundings here, but he had no family. But that didn't prevent him from having a rich social life. This table here, we want to let you to imagine that he's sitting here to have dinner with his very good friend, Admiral Carl Augustin Ehrensvärd. Maybe just left the table to discuss something about these reforms regarding society and agriculture.
Right now we are in one of the rooms on the second floor of the castle, and behind me here on the big portrait of the last Count Carl Augustin Ehrensvärd. He and his wife, Eva is not here present, but this is her dress after she got married and went to Paris. She came back with a new fashion, with a tournure. They married early and had one son, but the son died, unfortunately, by a lung disease. So when they moved in here, this was Eva's birthplace. She was born in the castle, on the castle, and she loved this home very much. So when she grew older and married her husband, they bought the castle from her siblings and the mother. When they came in possession of the castle, the mother had turned 99 years old, and that meant that Eva was 70 and Carl Augustin was 80 years old. But they moved into the castle and started a bigger renovating the castle. A year later, he died. And of course, the whole place went into bankruptcy. So Eva, she had to sell everything, part of the estate, and she moved into a flat on the same floor as this, and then she made it into a museum with people helping her to do the whole place into a museum, showing how the upper class people lived and how the peasantry lived. So this is a typical upper class living room, small living room from that time. Okay, let's go back in time. In this room you'll see a furnished room from the late 1800s, and this is how Eva had her living room. On the walls you see paintings from family members, and this is the desk she was writing her letters. And here next to me you'll find her wedding dress. When she was wed to her husband, she was dressed in this beautiful wedding dress, but before the wedding, the day before, they would have a big ball, and on the picture behind me you can see her in her ball dress. The morning of the wedding, they started pulling the corset like 7:30 in the morning, and they kept pulling the corset so she could fit into the wedding dress. So by the time she was ready for the wedding, they had pulled the corset enough. Her waistline is 47 centimeters. And this is the trail to the dress, and the fashion, as I said before, mentioned, is the tournure, with corset and a tournure on the bottom. Here we see a picture when they were in Paris, Eva and her husband, newlywed, and Eva is wearing a hat with a small little kitten in it. When this was made into museum, Eva lived 10 more years, or even more, and she helped building up the museum. So that's why we have this beautiful place to show you how people lived during the 1800 and how the peasantry lived through 1800.
These costumes here are copies of the suit that was designed by the Swedish King Gustav III in 1778. Influenced by the mercantilism, he wanted to limit the import of textile, and he designed this suit to be worn at the royal court.
Slimminge village community cherishes traditions such as spetterkaka, lace and much more. They have produced a number of brochures about the area and displayed its history with many pictures.
Sticka upp på vagnen. Och sen från vagnen stack man upp på luften. Och sen på luften ska man sticka upp. Ja. Och så ska man ha taklöt i ovanför. Smakbiten får vi åka sen också.
Dierbecks village community also showed the history of the area in various exhibits. During the year, they instigated various interesting lectures that have been well attended. Gärdslöv's village community told of their activities and especially about the charcoal pile. A charcoal pile is a way to convert wood into charcoal. The village community in Gärdslöv collects firewood from the forest, which is then laid up tightly. At the end, you cover the charcoal with spruce twigs and then cover it with soil. Through high temperature, the wood is converted to charcoal. That process takes 4 days. After that, the charcoal pile is extinguished and allowed to cool for about 3 weeks. South Åby Local Community Association has published a number of village magazines that you could browse and some books. South Åby Local Community Association also manages a unique, well-preserved wooden mill from 1682. Greater Beddinge village community also participated with stick horses for the children's activities. Together with the village communities, the castle's own associations also presented their activities. During the day, visitors could travel with a small train from the castle park, passing the art gallery and the smokehouse, which opened as a cafe in June 2020, and further into the popular 2.4 kilometre long hiking trail around Svaneholm Lake. The hiking trail is the old hunting trail. Drawing, painting and riding stick horses were popular activities during the festival. The artist, Tong Wang, was in charge of the painting. A family from Holland with their children stayed for a long time to draw and paint.
Johannes, jag håller kurs här nu. Ja, du har kurs. Jag har kurs för teknik 2 gånger i veckan. Ja.
Welcome to Christinehof Castle. Christinehof, the beautiful castle that was built by Christina Pieper, the foremost entrepreneur in the Nordic countries in the early half of the 18th century. Christina Pieper, she had this castle built in 1741. Now we are going to step up and visit Christina at her apartment. And the interesting thing is that when Christina had this castle built and it was ready, she was already 68 years old, not a young person anymore. And maybe that's why she made sure that the steps, they are extremely comfortable. Let's try them. I'm standing at the heart of the castle, in the dining room. And I'm standing in the center of the morning star, the star that never goes down. And I think this is what Christina thought about her business empire, that it would never disappear. It is for this woman, Christina Pieper, that we are keeping this castle open. And we, when I say we, it is the Cultural Association Christina's Vänner, the Friends of Christina. And why do we want to be her friend? Because she was such a successful businesswoman in the early half of the 18th century, a role model that we feel we should lift up and speak about. And all our exhibits and activities at the castle is to tell her story and many other women's stories, because we need these stories to understand our history and to be able to develop a future that is for all. Christina Pieper, she was a gambler, but only in business, and she took risks. But she would never allow herself, I think, to sit down at a gambling table like this beautiful one, because to her it was work and work and work. And when she didn't work, she took care of her children and her grandchildren. She was a family person. Christinehof never became Christina Pieper's home. She had already her home at Krokowa, a lovely castle just north of Ystad. So Christinehof was mainly a sort of hotel for Christina, where she could stay when she visited her alum works, and also to greet and receive guests, to dine with them, have business conversations, and when business deals were made. It's not until her son, Carl Fredrik, and her grandson, Carl Gustav, takes over Christinehof, when it becomes more of a pleasure castle, a wonderful place to come in the summertime. And the way we have furnished the castle today in these rooms is more of the style of Carl Gustav's time. I think it's so fascinating just to think that Christina Pieper, she slept in this room. This is where she spent her nights when she was at Christinehof. And you may wonder, why is it all draped in black? Yes, it's because when Christina became a widow, she turned all her bedrooms into black, because she really mourned her husband, Carl Pieper. They had an equal marriage with lots of respect, and I think also love for each other. What was it like to be Christina and to live in that period, in the early 18th century? This is what we always have in mind at Christinehof. We are trying to bring back Christina, and we are trying to bring life to Christinehof, so the visitors, they can feel something. It's not enough for us just to show furniture. Furniture is beautiful, but we want to bring life to the furniture. We want people to feel what it was like living in this castle.
så jämlik mage som Karl var. Det kan man. Jag själv hade att känna världen, heden, sin konjunkt.
Welcome to the third floor. We are now in a room dedicated to our latest exhibition, Rebel Girls, and especially one of the girls which we tell the story about in the exhibition, Magdalena Rudenskjöld. Rebel girls in the 18th century. Yes, there were rebel girls even at that time. And Magdalena, who was a great-grandchild to Christina Pieper, she was a political activist. She was a lady-in-waiting at the Swedish court. She was a woman who not only was beautiful, but also had the courage to stand up for her beliefs and for the person she loved. And she was punished severely, condemned to death. But the death sentence was instead turned into a prison time for 2 years. She was actually one of the first political prisoners in Stockholm at Långholmen. We who live today, we can actually recognize what these 4 rebel girls went through back then, more than 200 years ago. Because being a woman at that time and being a woman of today, there are similarities. And I think everyone who has in their life felt that my own wishes, my own dreams, all the things I wanted to do, have had its limitations, restrictions that were set by others and which I had to follow, although I didn't want to. All of us who one or several times in our lives have felt this. We can recognize what happened to the women long time ago. So, what am I? Am I fantastic? Am I naughty? Married? Playful? Am I a person who don't gossip? I think I am fantastic. And that's why I'm going to put my mush, exactly like Stina Pieper did here, in the middle of in the center of my forehead. And we have our own corona-safe way of doing this. It's a very simplified way of putting a mush in the right place. I put it here with a little bit of lip seal. Now, I'm ready for a party, because this room is also for parties.
It's
When Christina Pieper turned 65, she could look back at 15 very profitable years at her alum works. It had become the biggest industry, alum works industry in Scandinavia, and it had made her one of the richest women in Sweden. All due to this alum, the alum crystal. So she decided to build a new castle, and that was Christinehof. I'm walking along the sight line, and this sight line is actually stretching all the way down to the south, where Christina is residing permanently at Krokowa, and to the north, through the forest, where she gets the timber to her alum works. This is her empire. Christinehof was built and ready to live in 1741. But Christina never moved here. She didn't leave Krokowa. Krokowa kept on being her permanent residence. The castle she arrived to in 1720 when she was a widow, and where she died 1752, almost 80 years old. What a lovely way to start your morning, to walk into such a beautiful chapel. And this is what Christina Pieper did each morning. She walked down the aisle like I do now, from her private rooms across the hall into this chapel that she had built. And it was inaugurated in 1723, 3 years after she had moved to Skane from Stockholm. She had this chapel built. There's nothing dark or gloomy about this chapel. It's all white, bright and hopeful. Her Christianity was of a special kind. She was a pietist, and being a pietist to Christina, it meant that she should, as a human being, find her inner discipline, be useful, and make charitable activities, help others. And I also think the Pietism actually allowed her to explore her capacities as a woman, because that special branch of Christianity didn't say anything about that you had to be a man or a woman to act as a real pietist. So this beautiful chapel was built by Nicodemus Tessin the Younger, and he is actually the chief architect for Christina for several of her buildings, and also for the renovation of Krokowa. Although she had all these many palaces and castles and manors to choose from, here in Skane, Krokowa was her favorite place. And although she built Christinehof much later in life, she kept on having Krokowa as her permanent residence. And it's not difficult to understand why, because this is a very warm and in many ways a cozy place. And it's privately owned today, and visitors are not, it's not a public place for visitors, so I feel enormously grateful to be here today. It's August and it's time to cut the hedges, and they are 300 years old. Christina Pieper, together with Hans Ramel, she was the foremost builder in Skane at the 18th century. And together with her castles that she had built, she also established beautiful Baroque gardens. And Krokowa was one of the most beautiful. This labyrinth of a certain kind of beech tree was already planted during her time. Let's move in and see what we can find in the labyrinth. Wow, look at these. They used to be hedges and now their trunks are so big. It's a fantastic labyrinth. And when there was a party, you could hide in the labyrinth, which I'm going to do now. And someone maybe will come and look for me. Ooh. Where are everybody? Ooh. Ooh. Where is everybody? I'm here. Where are you? Hello? Hello? Ah! You know, all this work that had to be done at a castle like this. I just can't imagine how many people who had been working here. It's something special to cut a hedge, a labyrinth that was planted 300 years ago. You feel humble to the people who planted it and all the people who have been taking care of them. So we can still enjoy a labyrinth that is 300 years old. It's fantastic. If we look at this map from Krokowa, we can see the castle here, and then we have the same as at Christinehof, a sight line starting from the castle, going north and then south to the labyrinth. And this labyrinth was planted in Christina's lifetime. The whole garden was surrounded by arcades of chestnut trees, a tree that became very popular mid-18th century. Our great botanist, Carl Linnaeus, he came to Krokowa in 1750, and he describes the garden as one of the most beautiful and remarkable Baroque gardens he had ever seen. So Christina Pieper established beautiful Baroque gardens at all her castles. Here I'm standing in the center of the old village that used to belong to Christina Pieper's alum works, Alunbruket. And this is actually the oldest house at Alunbruket. Today a very well visited coffee shop. There are still houses left at Alunbruket that actually dates back to the 18th century. Today they look very picturesque. They weren't that at Christina Pieper's time, for sure. This was a hard life to work at Alunbruket, the alum works. And it's almost unbelievable to think that 900 people lived here. When you compare it with Simrishamn, the village of Simrishamn, and well, it's actually a town, a small town today, but back then it was only 700 people living in Simrishamn. This is the black gold of Andrarum. Black gold it was called because it was worth its weight in gold. This is just the alum shale, but if you process it through a quite complicated process here at the alum works, it will end up in the white crystals called alum. And alum, you can use it, and it can still be used, but especially back in the 18th century, it was used to prepare textiles and fabrics for dyeing. You could use it for your wounds and sores, and so many other useful things. This is what remains of the biggest alum works in Scandinavia. And here is a slag heap. When the alum shale had been burnt in high fires, reaching up to 7 meters, standing here and there, the material, the slag from the fires, was rolled up in wheelbarrows on these steep hills by women and children, not older than 8-9 years old. Can you imagine a wheelbarrow going up this hill? I can hardly walk down the hill. It was an enormous, tiresome work. Christina Pieper's alum works, Alunbruket, with its 900 people living here, was a highly well-organized society. It contained everything. This warehouse was the place where people came to get their salary, not in money, but in goods to eat: rye, barley, corn, pork, herring. As well in Alunbruket, there was also a prison, a school, a hospital that Christina Pieper built to the old elderly women. So this almost overwhelming warehouse was built in 1741. And I can just imagine what it would be like, to come here, with your family. Maybe they were not starving, but it was, tough times to be a worker at the alum works, and to come here and be totally dependent on all the goods that were in this warehouse. And if your so-called salary didn't make it up to all the goods that you wanted and needed for your family, maybe you had a lot of children, you would end up in debt. And most of the people living at Alunbruket, they were in debt to Christina Pieper, which meant that you could never leave the place. Imagine you have been working at the alum works 300 years ago. You have spent your whole life on producing the alum for Christina Pieper. You're old, your health is broken. You've been working 7 days a week. You've never had almost any free time. And now you're old. And you're a widow, no family to take care of you. What would become of you? And this question is something Christina Pieper found an answer to when she had this house built just a year before her own death, she had this house built for 6 to 8 elderly women who had been working at the alum works their whole life, and they could get a final place where they just could take a rest. So then one can ask oneself, why did she build this? If she was only going to use it as a hotel when she visited her alum works. Well, maybe it was important to have a hotel, like a stay over, where you could invite your guests and also stay a week while she was visiting her industry. I also think that she wanted to tell the rest of the world that I belong to this place now. Christina Pieper, when she had Christinehof built, she could stand here along the sightline and say to herself, all of this is mine. From Krokowa in the south to Traneboda in the north.